We're on a Wednesday night, a rare Wednesday night occurrence here, but this is my debut podcast. I've taken over the Sunday nights for TJ, so bear with me for the next couple of weeks and we'll work out some Sundays here. Tonight we got the Dust Rhinos, two members. We got Dan and Blair from the Dust Rhinos, iconic Winnipeg band. We're going to chat, get to know them a little bit, talk about their new album that came out, maybe some shows coming up, a little bit of history on them. All right, so first up, how about a history of the Dust Rhinos?
Oh, well.
How much time do you have?
Yeah. We started off busking at the Forks. There was three of us started busking at the Forks. And it was so long ago, my busk pass number was 11. So, yeah, we would go down on Sundays and busk. And then Heather, who owned the Toad in the Hole pub, saw us busking there and said, "Oh, you've got to come and play at my pub one day." And so we played for the third anniversary of the Toad in the Hole pub, and then it went over really well, and she invited us back, and then we played the last Saturday of every month for the next 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And so it just kind of grew from there.
Excellent.
And crazy enough, I've been in the band about 16 years, and that's all before my time.
That's all like 15 years before that.
Yeah. Excellent. So you're 3 decades now.
Yeah.
So you've been there for half of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Great. New album came out May 10th this year.
Yeah.
And where was it recorded?
We recorded at Stereo Bus with Paul Yee, and Leonard Podolak produced it for us. It was a great experience. We had so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
How we got anything done.
Excellent. A couple songs out there. You got 3 singles out now, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
The latest one is
Don't Come Knocking.
Don't Come Knocking. You shot a video for that one as well.
Yeah, we have a video for all 3 actually.
Oh, all 3. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The first one was written by you, I believe.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I've been playing music all of my adult life and not really much of a songwriter. So that was one I've been had bounced around in my head for a long time, maybe even before I joined the band. And finally came together. Just once it hit, just kind of so I'm really happy with that one. Yeah.
Excellent. Of all the friends I've ever had.
Yeah. When he says not much of a songwriter, what he means is he doesn't write many songs.
Okay.
Because he's a great songwriter.
I want him to be good. When I read him, I want him to be good.
How does the songwriting go in the band?
With this album, it was actually, I felt like it was. I mean, there were recordings before I was in the band, but I felt like this for me was the most collaborative.
It was. I think because what happened was COVID came along, right? Is like we had a meeting in January to talk about getting in the studio. We had a meeting with Leonard and we planned it all out and everything. And we thought, well, let's just get past St. Patrick's Day because that's a super busy time for us.
Yeah.
And we had a big sociable in there as well. And we thought, we'll get those 2 things out of the way and then we'll go into the studio.
Excellent.
And then the 15th of March, everything shut down in the world for the next couple of years. So our original plan was a couple of originals that we had, a couple of covers, and a couple of traditional songs. And then we just wrote through COVID and things, and then ended up with an album of all original material.
Yeah, it's the first Dust Rhinos album that doesn't have any traditional or cover tunes on it, so it's all.
I noticed you've had some covers in the past. Wild Mountain Time.
Yeah.
So on an earlier one, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Nothing to Do in This Town. Probably my favorite song on the album so far.
Nice.
A little ode to Bowie and Petty in there as well.
That's really funny because it's not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Ryan in our band was like, "Dude, that's gonna be someone's favorite."
Oh yeah, you're right. It is my favorite. I think I listened to it 3 times on the way up from work today.
Yeah.
So the Tom Petty nod to American Girl.
Yeah.
And Bowie, there was a nod in there too.
Yeah.
And I forget which song it was now.
Young Americans.
Young Americans. That's it.
Yeah. And that was again height of the pandemic. Like we hadn't seen each other in months, and like Blair's recording on his phone. I was like, "Check this out! I got an idea." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm sitting in my house by myself, and I'm like, "Okay, I think I got some ideas too."
Yeah.
I sent it to Dan first, and I only had the Bowie part in it, and Dan said, if you wrote another verse and we put a Tom Petty thing in there,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be good?
Yeah,
And it's like,
exactly, right?
oh yeah. So, and we originally started with Free Falling, and but it just changed the momentum so much. It was very jarring, and so we ended up with American Girls because
you picked the right one.
we really like that song too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other song that stood out is "Don't Worry, John." John Mann.
Yeah.
It's big influence for you guys. Spirit of the
Well,
West,
yeah, of course, right. We have enough Celtic roots in there that's important, and like the very first time we ever played the folk festival, Spirit of the West were the headliners on the Sunday night, and it was they were rehearsing. We were being interviewed by somebody. It was our very first interview we had ever done, and it was, I think, for the Manitoba Cooperator paper. And the lady said, she goes, "Well, who are some of your influences?" And John Mann and Jeff Kelly were rehearsing for a workshop that they were doing, like about 50 feet away from us. And I said, "Well, you see those two guys over there?" I said, "Those are our influences." And yeah, so we met John. I met John several times, and he was always just a really sweet man, and he was very good to us, like very encouraging and stuff. And so the last show they ever played in Winnipeg was at the casino, and I wasn't going to go because I wanted to remember him like full of energy and stuff. And a friend of mine said, "It's going to be the last show. If you don't go, you'll kick yourself." And I thought, "Oh my God, I will." So the next day I went and bought tickets to the show, and my wife and I went, and the third song that they played was "And If Venice Is Sinking." And the whole crowd is singing along because that chorus is so great. And I looked over, and my wife had like big tears rolling down her face, and I said, "What's wrong, honey?" She says, "It's just so sad." And I said, "What's sad?" And I said, "This is really joyous." And she goes, yeah. She says, "But everybody here in this building knows all the words to this song except for John, and he wrote it." And so that was a really powerful thing when I thought about it that way. And then the whole night was everybody singing along. And I went home and wrote the chorus to that song the very next day. Like I got up in the morning and wrote the chorus because I thought, these songs will live on long past John. And they're just such great songs. Yeah, absolutely.
And a great album that song's on too. I believe it's off Faith Lift.
Yes.
Yeah. Good album too. Yeah. That's a great story. I obviously hear this song and I saw a video too that had John Mann, remembering John Mann. Yeah. Well, that's great. Personal favorite off the album for you?
Well, I gotta say, like I said, I'm really proud of the songs I wrote. So because I was putting myself out there a bit more than I had in the past. Like I've done, I've contributed, but not actually writing a song, sitting down from start to finish with an idea. So I'm just pretty proud of my contributions, to be honest.
That's great.
Also, Darren, our drummer, wrote a couple of songs on there. The last song on the album is one he wrote very specifically about his father who passed away.
Okay.
And we actually, the songs I wrote, I really wrote for the band, and I had Blair in mind as the singer when I wrote them. So definitely, give him to Blair to sing. But when it got time to record that last song, it was Darren's song. It was about his father, and we were just like,
it needed to be Darren singing.
So it's Darren's vocals. I wasn't sure whose vocal it was on there.
So it's a little, it sounds a little different because it's a different voice, but it's
it was the right emotion for the song though, for sure. And he was really nervous in the studio because that's really putting yourself out there. The song itself is really putting yourself out there.
Well, the interesting thing too with that one was Darren, he sings, but he's not the singer in the band. And the first time we tried to really work it up in rehearsal, Blair was going to sing it, and I'm trying to sing along, and we got about halfway through the second verse, and we couldn't do it. We were all getting we were crying. Like it's a really heartfelt, emotional song. We couldn't we had to stop and talk about it. So that one means a lot to me too, and it was just good to have Darren actually sing it with his own voice too.
Oh, great. It was like I was in the studio with him when he put the vocal track down, and he was so good in there, and he's very he likes to be in the back. If he could be we'll never have a drum riser because he would prefer maybe a curtain. He's not a showy guy, and so it was really neat that he stepped out and did that.
Excellent. Jesus Drinks for Free. Did your wife co-write that with you?
She helped write
credits?
it.
Yeah. Okay. Thought I saw a credit on there.
Yeah, she's a really good writer. I will. So, and she's usually my first person that I bounce anything off of, and she's like, "Oh, but it would be so much better if you said this and this and this." And I thought, "Oh my God, those are amazing lines!" And so I worked them in. It was that one. That was inspired by a friend of mine whose mom is a pretty religious lady, and they live in the States. They live in Illinois, and I was asking my friend Sarah. I said, "Well, what does your mom think about all of the politics stuff about how religion is being used?" And she said that she felt that her religion was being hijacked, and that these people were not real Christian people that are just all of the derogatory things and that, but all done in the name of God or in the name of Jesus, and so she thought that was terrible. And so a couple months later, I was I was in a goofy mood or something. I was thinking about, if Jesus ever came down to earth for real, and it's I'm not a big believer in anything, but if he came down and saw these people, said he would not want to associate with them. And so then I thought about it further, and I thought, he comes down, he has the power to turn water into wine. So he goes to the bar, orders water and a water, and then just turns it into wine and drinks his days away at the end of the bar.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
well, it's a great album.
Thank you so much.
Front to back, great album. The Big Sociable.
Yeah,
you've done 8.
We've done 8. Number 9
What's
is
the idea
planned.
Number 9's planned?
Yeah.
Excellent. What's
November
the idea
1st.
behind it?
The idea behind it.
Where did it come from?
Well, it was really a sort of a collaboration with the Park Theatre, and Eric was talking to Blair, and they had it set up. Originally, it was a St. Patrick's Day kind of concept, and then like we said, pandemic hit, and we had to cancel. Everything was getting canceled literally the night before. We were saying we're going to do it. It's still on, and then the next day it was there's no way we can do it.
Yeah.
So that was the last real official St. Patrick's Day Big Sociable.
Mm-hmm.
But by then,
it was a sold-out show too. Yeah. We sold out the venue, and
so we've been doing it at different times a year, but it's basically an annual event, and we get a lot of just local musicians to come on stage with us, and we back them up the whole time, and everyone just plays songs together. And
yeah, it's kind of like a folk festival workshop almost. Although, we'll rehearse together, and people will bring songs, and sometimes they'll bring songs with other guests in mind as well. JD Edwards is going to be there, but so is Nathan Rogers. So he's going to do this song that he thinks Nathan would also be good on. And, and so it's really turned into kind of this really crazy collaboration.
It's a big deal for us.
It's a big deal for us.
Yeah, very exciting just to play with different people in a real project. It's a lot of work getting the songs together, but everyone's got the skills, and we all hunker down and do it and get up there, and
It's a great time though.
It's a crazy amount of work the week before, because normally we never get together with anybody until the week before. And so we're learning
Yeah, so that'll be
20 songs.
November 1st, I believe, right?
November 1st.
Yeah,
at the
we haven't
Park
announced
Theater.
guests yet, but yeah, we tried to set it up like a little living room on stage with a couch, and
Okay.
everyone's live the whole time. You can play on each other's songs, and yeah.
Excellent. And
We have 2 confirmed guests so far.
Top secret.
Top secret.
Yeah,
Top secret.
We'll announce them later, but they're both really good.
Okay.
and they'll both be really good at playing along with other people too.
Excellent. Any other shows?
We're off to On and Old to Poor Michael's Bookshop.
Okay.
That's 27th
Okay.
of July. So anyone out in Westman area or
Mhm.
the Parklands area, the tickets are for sale there right now. And this will be our second time playing there. We played a couple of years before the pandemic. We played there, and it was really fun. We had a great time, and it was a sold out show. So we're hoping for the same again.
Mhm.
And it's a really neat venue. And we had perfect weather the last time we were there. So if we can get that again, we'll put the order in for that now. And it was really knowledgeable music
Okay.
crowd, very accepting and appreciative. And we just told stories and sang songs.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, made stuff up. It was really fun.
Okay.
And then we've got our first ever Blue Note Park
Okay.
show coming up at the end of August.
Mhm.
And it'll be on a Wednesday night, the 28th.
So yeah.
28th. And
August 28th.
yeah, we're super excited about that because we haven't played the Blue Note Park,
Yeah.
and it's kind of
It's
iconic
new, yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
neat.
great venue.
And,
Yeah.
And hard to say how long it'll be there too. It's just kind of it's great. It's just the times is right there, and it's a
Mhm.
great spot. But I don't know what the long-term plan is for that space. So I was like, we got to get in there while it's going. It could go on for years, but you just never know. So,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely something I want to be a part of. So yeah, looking forward to that a lot.
Excellent.
we played. It wasn't the Blue Note at the time because the Blue Note was gone before we started, but we played Main Spot, which was the Blue Note had sold to the waitresses of the Blue Note, had bought it and made it the Main Spot, and we played there a couple of times, which was funny because Curtis Rydell, who was the owner of the Blue Note, was our sound guy for those nights when we played there. But and that, so
Interesting.
that was in that space,
Yeah.
and now we'll be playing in the outdoor space that's left there.
And that's on Main Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on
Okay.
Main.
Right by Times Changed.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly,
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. And then anything else with shows?
Oh, Super Spike,
Super Spike?
is next weekend. Playing with Down with Webster, which my 28-year-old daughter thought was the best thing ever that we're playing with Down with Webster. And so it's been a little quieter than we had actually wanted it to be for this summer, but we've been really busy with other things. So, but the fall is looking to get busy for us.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. How about longevity? 3 decades. How'd you do it?
Still fun.
Yeah.
I think it's just Blair couldn't not do it.
Okay.
Really,
It's just impressive
Yeah.
in today's world with bands that last 5-6 years, and you've held it out.
Well, if you're 5 or 6 years in this band, you're still the rookie. And that's
Yeah.
like Darren was our original drummer, and then he took 10 years off in the middle, and then came back. And he's now been, his second term is longer than his first term was in the band. So
Wow.
yeah.
And Blair makes it easy for me, at least. I just kind of show up. He just kind of hosts every show.
Okay.
That's on stage personality. I can just hang around and play some bass, and sometimes I just enjoy the show. I just kind of lean back and listen to what Blair's doing. I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
He's heard all the stories before.
Yeah.
Every now and then I bust out a new one.
Yeah, but now I don't believe you. Anytime you tell me something I haven't heard before, I'm like, that's something you had a dream about? And I'm thinking, I would have said that before. If that really happened, I would know already.
Yeah. How about the live show itself? I talked to someone who had seen you in the past, and said, "Oh, it's a crazy live show," why would the person explain it as crazy? Is it just full energy?
There's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I think we are getting older.
Yeah.
Like there was maybe more energy in the past, but since we've added Ivanka on fiddle in the band, it's just like the energy is just like next level with her on stage.
Yeah, and it's
sometimes I'll kind of forget what I'm doing. I'm sort of like off in baseland and kind of playing along and having a good time. And then I look over at her and she's tossing her hair around and dancing around and just playing amazing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in this band. Okay.
Yeah, it's she's been a real spark of life. Actually, both her and Ryan, they joined the same day, and our first show with them was St. Patrick's Day, and we took them around and played like a million sets of music all around town, and they were just total rock stars, both of them, the whole day, and their contributions to the playing and the arranging of things is just, it's next level. It's like I have a friend who says every time you change a member of the band, it seems to elevate, and it's like it really elevated when they joined. It was really nice.
And how long have they been in now?
I want to say 5 years.
5 years,
okay,
almost 6.
Yeah,
wow.
Like I said, it's kind of a blur at this point.
It is.
But yeah, we're really happy to get this album recorded though as this group. Like I think there's been a few iterations of the band in the past, and what we've got now really represents who we are now. And,
Yeah.
And
Excellent.
There's a lot more musical diversity in the band now too.
Unknown caller.
And
so unprofessional.
yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's probably my mom. It's like, hey, you're on the internet. Yeah, it was. This lineup of the band is really fun, but we have a lot more musical diversity in the band too. Like, or I guess we've just allowed ourselves to explore it more. Because like we all like tons of different kinds of music. But we had always thought, well, okay, we're a Celtic band and we'll do the Celtic thing and stuff. But now it's like the latest album is more diverse. It's there's still definitely a Celtic influence in things. It happens just because of our instrumentation,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think there's a lot more influences coming in there, and
I would say also doing the big sociable show every year the way we do with guests, like we're really kind of trying to play with them with whatever they want to do. So that's also kind of pushed us to really kind of try different things.
Yeah.
And be really flexible. I think I've gotten a lot better at just listening over the past 5 or 6 years since we started doing that. Because there's a lot of pressure to do it, but it's just so much fun to play different styles as well.
Yeah. So far since we've done the big social, we have performed songs in 4 different languages.
Oh wow.
As well, because you have someone come in and I'm going to sing this song, it's in Spanish, or I'm going to sing this song, it's in Ukrainian, and it's like, go for it.
We're doing it.
Teach us a couple of words.
Yeah, we haven't had to do a hard veto on a lot of song suggestions for that, but we've done some pretty out there stuff, and it's always fun. Yeah, people throw some curveballs at us, and Dan steps up. Yeah.
So background influences and what kind of bands would you say you're listening to, even separate, right?
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of interesting too. There is a bit of an age gap between us.
Yeah.
But for this, as far as this style of music goes, for me, like definitely growing up, we had like Stan Rogers and Spirit of the West and the cassette player in the car and stuff.
Yeah.
So that would be like first introduction. And I like to say too, honestly, I think I was 15 the first time I heard the Dust Rhinos, so I would consider the Dust Rhinos an influence as well. Yeah.
Well, isn't that something to be part of it then, right?
Well, yeah. If you told me when I was 15 I'd be in this band, it'd be like joining the Beatles or something.
Yeah, exactly. And for you, Dan, Men in Kilts, obviously.
Yeah,
I remember Men in Kilts.
Yeah, and they're actually Andre's got that band going again as well.
Okay,
I did a couple shows with them, and I just couldn't kind of commit to both. But they're actually going to be at Super Spike next weekend.
Oh, wow.
Different day, but yeah, so he's got so that band's still going too. Yeah,
I remember seeing Men in Kilts at the old arena, I believe it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was a side stage, and there was a bunch of bands there.
That was
a
a big show for us because it was like a St. Patrick's Day thing, but we were kind of the only Irishy kind of band there, and like it was huge. Yeah, it was it was a big night for us for sure.
Yeah. Perfect. Any side projects for yourself?
Yeah, actually, I've So the guy that I played in my first band, the first band I ever played in was an 80s new wave band called The Shelf. And
you gotta call it something. This band's called the Dust Rhinos.
Exactly. And we played it. We were out in Brandon. We played a few university gigs and things like that. And so he had quit music for quite a while, and then he just got back into it. And he phoned me up one day and he said, "Hey, what do you think about like doing some stuff?" So we have a side project called Lloyd Dobler's Boombox, which Lloyd Dobler is the character from Say Anything who holds the boombox over his head. It's iconic. No one knows that when you say the name Lloyd Dobler, no one knows, but when you have the graphic, everybody knows. And so doing some like 80s new wave stuff and that, and mostly just in the basement for fun, and that will probably do a couple shows in the fall.
It's different.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm so used to it's Blair from the Dust Rhinos. Come on, what is this?
Yeah.
How did you get the name the Dust Rhinos?
It's an old Far Side cartoon. Roberta takes on a dust rhino, and it was like this little old lady and her broom and a dustpan, and her dust bunny was so big it was like a rhino, and it's coming through the door, and she's standing there like that with it.
And it's weird how well the name suits the band. Like, I think the first time I saw you, it was maybe 1996, the Brandon Folk Festival.
Right.
And seeing you guys on stage at the time, it was like, this is definitely the Dust Rhinos. Like, it's perfect. The name fits the band.
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous, but it just suited you guys at the time. And still.
And we didn't necessarily want a name that said, this is a Celtic band. We wanted a name that said, this is an energetic band. And I think that fits.
It conjures up a certain visual.
It does, yeah.
Absolutely, right? And CDs, merch, anywhere people can pick that stuff up?
We have an online merch store.
Okay.
You can download stuff. You can order online. We have usually a special run of t-shirts that we only sell at shows. And then after we're sold out of those, we'll eventually put those in our online store, and people can order them anywhere. So we do have an online store on our website that you can just click through and get from we partner with a print to go or print on demand place that will do it and ship it anywhere in the world. So
excellent.
Because that's the other thing is now with streaming and stuff like that, we have fans all over the world now, and so you need to be able to get stuff to them, and it's a real pain to have to run down to the post office and do all that posting and stuff. So it's nice. We distribute through CD Baby, and they look after putting us on every streaming service. So we're on streaming services that we don't even know about. Like
that is true.
Like there's places in other countries that we don't know about that people are listening to us on, like Uba or it's
that's the thing with I believe it's TuneCore. When you put your song on there, there's tons of streaming services. I know maybe 3 of them, but you just put them to wherever you can. And
same basic idea. You pick one of those DistroKids or TuneCore, CD Baby, and they take a small percentage of everything. I've been using CD Baby since CDs actually, and that's true. And I've been a customer of theirs longer than the people that work there now, but I know a lot of them from years of working with them and stuff. So I can phone them up and if I have questions or issues or anything, and they look after it really well. So
excellent.
So that's nice.
Excellent. So what's next for the Dust Rhinos? You got your shows coming up. What does the future look like?
That's a good question.
We've talked about it a little bit. This is probably the last full-length CD we're ever going to do. Or full-length album. And now we're probably going to go with we'll record a couple of songs and just release them as singles as we go, instead of getting 10 or 12 songs together, we'll get a couple songs together and record them and shoot them out.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, getting ready for the big sociable November 1st.
Yeah.
And then after that, probably, if you'd scrape together 3 songs, just get into the studio for one weekend and, then release them online. It's just how it is nowadays.
Yeah.
In hindsight, making an album was we're like, did we need to do that? But I'm glad we did, because like I said, it does represent the group that we have now. And really proud of a lot of those songs too. So
it's probably the best album we've done, in the quality of the songs, the quality of the recording, quality of the playing. We're at that point now where there's not a lot of egos in the studio anymore. no one's feelings are getting hurt if you say, you should do that again. And we all know each other so well too. Like we've been together for so long that it's easy to do it. And like for the writing of the songs too, you'll write something, and if I'm stuck, I'll phone Dan and I'll say, Dan, I'm stuck. And Dan will have something, and then it's like all of a sudden you're unstuck again. And that we have the one song on the album, Always Be Together. I had written it, again, bounced it off my wife. She did a few things in there, and then I played it for everybody, but it was really short. But then Dan had been working on a song that was almost the same
very
song.
Similar song. I think you just had the chord progression at first, and it was like that was bouncing around in my head.
Yeah.
And by the time it came back to me, I was like, "What if we just superimpose my song on your song, and then we got a song?"
And it was great, and then it became a complete song. And we were practicing that in the backyard when that's all you could do was get together outdoors. And my neighbors must have heard that song 10,000 times. They know every iteration of how that song went. And
they moved.
Yeah, they did.
I think it's a coincidence, but they definitely moved shortly thereafter. I don't know.
Well, now they got the album to hear it on.
That's right.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to anyone watching right now?
Yeah, well, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. And thanks for, you don't stick around for 30 years without support of people. People come to shows, and so the kind of neat thing is we're now playing for the kids of the people who used to come to shows, because their parents brought them to shows, and now they're bringing their kids to shows. We're starting into the very beginnings of our 3rd generation of fans. And that's pretty neat. But yeah, those people really, we've made a lot of really good friends just from people that we've met playing shows, and we really appreciate them.
Excellent. That wraps up episode 1, Wednesday Night Boneyard, which will always be the Sunday Night Boneyard and not the Wednesday Night Boneyard. Special in this case, it's my debut here. Catch me Sunday night. I got Omens, Pure Entry, and 5 more miles on Sunday night, back to back to back. So there goes my Sunday night. Going to be great to talk to those bands. Big thanks to Dan and Blair from the Dust Rhinos. Episode 1 in the books. Thank you.